Okay guys, so I'm back. Another Tales from the Recliner. I know it's been a while, but I don't know, something to do. Anyways, so I thought today's video, normally I talk about what's going on in the paintball world. At this point, really, who gives a shit? I just figure I'll talk about all these hurricanes that are rolling in, people that are stupid that are staying, unless you really know what you're doing, or you're somewhere where there's not going to be a lot of hurricane force winds. But I'll touch on that in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to touch on is these people that are going out in places where the water has been literally receded back, has been pushed back by the force of the wind or sucked up into the hurricane. And so they think it's all, neat and cool. They thought it was all neat and cool in the Bahamas. Hey, let's walk out into places that would normally be underwater, but the water's been, sucked away or driven away. So you've got these areas that basically have no water, that are essentially almost boggy, swamp-like type land that normally would be the seafloor. People are going down and walking out. In some cases, I've seen videos, guys walking out 5, 6, 700 meters from where would normally be the beach. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you're just plain stupid. What happens if all of a sudden the water decides, well, not the water decides, but all of a sudden, physics happen, the hurricane dissipates, and all that water comes rushing back? Fact of the matter is, if there was a major storm surge, you can't run fast enough to outrun that. You're going to drown. You're going to get sucked under and drown. Period. Don't be an idiot. Same thing goes for these people. I saw this video on Facebook of these idiots standing in like little, almost like, the depth of a puddle of water that's left in Tampa Bay, Florida. Same thing. The hurricane is oncoming. The second the hurricane slams into land, it's going to take all the water that it's being drawn into the hurricane, drawn backwards, and it's going to shove it forwards in a storm surge. You're going to have 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 feet of water coming right in there that you can't stop or outrun. This is not... Hey, D cat. Everybody, this is my cat. Her name is Dee. She likes to make a fest of herself. Anyways, getting back to my point, you're going to have people that they think that playing around with hurricanes is funny. Playing around with hurricanes is not funny. This is not, it's not like you're going out in a thunderstorm and, you're standing underneath, your awning on your front porch and watching the lightning. Personally, I used to do that as a kid with my mom. I used to sit on a covered porch. We'd sit there and watch thunderstorms all the time. I still do that as an adult. I have a covered area in by my house that connects my house to my garage. There's a little, almost like an awning type thing, and I can pull up a chair and sit there and be completely covered, and there can be a hell of a rainstorm going on. I can sit and watch the lightning. Do it fairly routinely, and I've lived here for the last 4.5 years, almost 5 now. It'll be 5 in next March. So what I'm trying to say is, all of these people, I get it. Some people are going, may never have experienced a hurricane before and are going, hey, this is cool. I've never seen this area with no water. I get it. I get that people think it's cool. Me, personally, I've never lived through a hurricane myself. My dad, he immigrated from Jamaica. He lived through hurricanes, and he thinks these people are stupid too. This is not something to screw with. What you're going to end up seeing, you're going to see people drowning. You're going to see people getting sucked out to sea. You're going to see all sorts of crap, probably in the next, I would say, 24 to 72 hours, when things really start getting rocky and rolling, and it's just making landfall. Apparently it made landfall something like 3 a.m. and it's just going to batter Florida for a while. Apparently it's going to also batter Georgia. I know Georgia Tech's being closed, I think Monday and Tuesday, due to the effects of the hurricane. So, having done some courses through Coursera at Georgia Tech, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody that actually physically attends the school. Go Yellow Jackets, and hopefully Bobby Dodd Stadium and the actual school building are still there when everyone, comes back and returns when the school reopens. And we're predicting, with what I'm seeing, probably going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Sorry, my cat's making a pest herself again. She's kind of my little furry shadow. Oh, all right, fine. Come on up. Come say hi. Alright, here we go. She'll be on my lap and probably be a pest of herself, so you'll see her tail flick around in the video. Oh, there we go. Anyways, basically I just wanted to touch on this whole point of, basically, if you're in that area of the world, or you're somewhere that gets major storms that can be life-threatening, don't be an idiot. Prepare. Fill your bathtub with clean water. You know, have bottled water on hand, have food, have batteries, have, you know, candles and a way to light them if power goes out and your batteries are dead. You know, really think about what would you do in the scenario of, you know, you don't have power for days or weeks in some cases. I mean, look at what happened in Hurricane Katrina. I think it was back in 2005. You know, look at what happened to New Orleans. Really? A lot of Florida? Same thing. If you're living on the coast, you're maybe 10 feet above sea level. You're going to get completely obliterated. I mean, look at what Hurricane Harvey did to Houston just a few weeks ago. Hurricane Irma, you know, it was rolling into the Category 5. Thankfully, it's weakened, but still, it's packing a serious, serious punch. And there's a couple other storms right behind it. This is probably going to be, if I'm correct, I'm going to do some more research and maybe I'll make another video. But from what I'm seeing, I think this might be one of the most active hurricane seasons in the Atlantic ever recorded. And not just active. I mean, it's one thing to have active storms, and a lot of them, but active storms that are Category 3, Category 4, like severe, severe storms. And, you know, people sit and talk about climate change. Well, I was reading something, and I did some fact checking, it is true. Apparently, the air can hold something like 7% more water for every 1 degree centigrade that the temperature rises. So, because you end up having warmer and warmer and warmer weather deeper and deeper and deeper into fall, which is when hurricanes really get rocking, well, that's going to mean you're going to have going out as the Earth warms up due to either natural climate change, and our climate goes in a bit of a sine wave. It goes up and down every 15,000 years. That means somewhere in the next 5,000 or 8,000 years, we're going to have another ice age. It's going to happen, period. But what you're going to end up also seeing is really man is doing all sorts of things that inhibit climate change. We sit there, we use all sorts of fossil fuel, we do greenhouse effect, yada yada. I could go on for another hour about that, but I'm not going to touch that too much. Just my main point for tonight's video is if you're in an area that has this type of damaging storm, be it down in the southern states, be it the Caribbean, be it the Bahamas. I know I'm pretty sure people from those areas have watched my video. Wouldn't surprise me. Or, you know, if, say for example, if you're out in eastern Canada, the far, far eastern coast of Canada does actually get hurricane force winds every once in a while rolling in off the Atlantic, and even a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane can be dangerous. A Category 1 is sustained winds of 75 miles an hour, basically all the way up into, I think, Category 2 starts at 105, 110. So, but even 75 miles an hour winds sustained is going to do some damage. It's going to snap trees, it's going to down power lines, it's going to rip the roof off a house, no problem at all. And what you're going to end up with is some nasty, nasty damage. People think hurricanes are just a thunderstorm on roids, and that could be said of, say, a tropical storm or a tropical depression, which are the two categories of storm leading up to a hurricane. In that case, yeah, it's a hurricane. It's a thunderstorm on roids. It really is. I've seen the effects of a tropical storm. I've seen, you know, what happens when a hurricane breaks up over an area. I know around here, I believe it was 1990, I want to say it was 96 or 97. It was whenever Hurricane Opal was. But I distinctly remember being in my dad's car, and basically the massive thunderstorms we were getting were the remnants of the hurricane breaking up as it traveled north and lost all of its hurricane strength. And even that caused some major issues. I mean, it was, you know, it caused streets to have so much water on them you couldn't safely drive on them. It had, you know, people were getting flooded basements. People were getting all sorts of stuff. And that was, like I said, at that point, just a powerful thunderstorm. Start stepping up into tropical storm, tropical depression, it's going to get even worse. So, you know, like I said, if you're in one of those areas and you do view my videos, just stay safe. If you're someone who's never experienced a hurricane before, yeah, try to resist the urge to do something stupid. I realize it's kind of neat to see a lot of places, like I said, that don't have water where normally water would be or something like that. I get it. I've seen areas that, you know, at one point were completely water covered that have now receded. On the plus side, or on the flip side, I've seen areas out in eastern Ontario that have had, you know, here, one year there was a building, and then the hydro company goes and they put up a hydroelectric dam, and that is now completely underwater. And that's kind of neat to watch. There's actually a lake in eastern Ontario that the hydro company, they bought the land, they dammed it, and there's now, I think it's 6 houses and a church completely underwater, but they took all the doors off, and you can actually go in and scuba dive and snorkel and all sorts of stuff. But that's a side point. I'm basically pointing out, unless it's safe to do so, unless you've been given the all clear by authorities, don't go outside. Anyways, that's my tale from the recliner, my take on this whole thing with all the stuff I'm seeing with people doing stupid crap with hurricanes, and I just wanted to post something about it. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.